Welcome back to another Squid Games video. We are now in the final stretch before Season 3 drops. It's just a couple weeks away. They just released another video on the Netflix YouTube account with even more teasers from the new season, showing us a look at some completely new stuff we've never seen before. They also hinted at something very interesting in a behind-the-scenes video with the director recently, and I feel like this is important enough where we need to talk about it. And they're releasing more photos. I want to take a look at everything new as we slowly get closer to the end of the entire show. It feels so crazy to say that. Like it wasn't too long ago when we were sitting down to watch the first season, and now we're here, full circle, almost at the end of this amazing story. If you love Squid Games and don't want to miss out on the finale, make sure you're subscribed with notifications on because we are going to be here talking about everything together. All the people in the comments love this show just as much as you do, so feel free to go down and comment who your favorite character is. Because let's be real, we already know who's going to win. Now that we're all subscribed, let's just go ahead and jump right into the new footage. Now, here we are quite literally starting off with one of the craziest shots. This is In-ho as the frontman in his private quarters on the phone telling somebody to kill them all. This is crazy. At first I was like, in what instance does the frontman need all of the players killed? There'd be no more Squid Games. Some people think that he might actually be talking to Captain Park on the ship with the Spec Ops group and Gi-hun, but let's be real, if the frontman knows there's ex-military on board, I doubt he would have faith that this captain could kill them all. I mean, there's a small chance, but let's be real. There's actually one massive detail that I think explains everything for this scene. If we look back at all the times we've seen him as the frontman, as In-ho, his true identity, we can see that he likes to wear his hair up and back out of his face. And it's not until he becomes Young-il that he changes his hairstyle and he pretends to be this new person. And if you look in this shot, he is wearing his hair down in front of his face as if he just was Young-il. This means that this shot probably takes place as soon as Season 2 ends. Honestly, it probably takes place inside of Season 2, right before it ends. Plus, the scene with Captain Park killing the one guy was before the Squid Games rebellion, meaning In-ho was still Young-il, player 01. I mean, maybe this is the captain calling the frontman to inform him he had to kill one guy and that the others will probably catch on, but I doubt that he would order the captain to kill Gi-hun, his brother. This is probably showing us what happened at the end of the rebellion when we follow Gi-hun as In-ho disappears and changes back into the frontman outfit. This is probably him telling the rest of the pink guards as they're capturing the players in the rebellion to kill them all. And then we actually see that order get carried out as the guards eliminate all of these players. I mean, except for the father, of course. They kind of have to go back in time a little bit just to show us everything they hinted at, specifically the father surviving. And honestly, I want to see where In-ho went after he killed the players that were with him and then scurried off to his quarters to throw the black suit on and then walk back out and surprise Gi-hun and unfortunately eliminate Jung-bae. So I think this new scene has to be right there, because it wouldn't make sense anywhere else in the show unless there's another incident later on in Season 3, but still it wouldn't explain his hair. I think it's safe to say he takes pride in his work, being the frontman, getting ready and holding himself to the same standard. Now, next we get an extension of this shot of Gi-hun entering the frontman's headquarters since surviving the 5th game and becoming a finalist once again. As he enters, Gi-hun's dialogue plays over it, saying that he's going to stop the games once and for all, and then this next shot confirms our theories from the last trailer. In this over-the-shoulder shot, we were able to see the little chair blurred out at the back of the room, and it almost seemed like this little bump was the frontman sitting in it, but it looked a little small. But now in this shot, we can clearly see that's exactly what's happening. At the end of this long hallway, the frontman is just sitting there, menacingly. He's being so dramatic. His chair might be comfy, but it's so big that it kind of makes him look tiny, almost like his little feet don't touch the ground and they're just dangling there in midair. And it kind of looks like In-ho brought this little chair in front of him for Gi-hun to sit down in for the big face reveal, just in case he passes out or something, you know? I'm actually really excited for this conversation. I can't wait to see this scene. I know the director has mentioned their acting is both phenomenal, but still, I am so excited. The tension has been building all throughout Season 2, and I can't help but think they're gonna dedicate a full episode to this. Now, this next shot of the mother crying is new footage technically, but we've already seen a different part of the same shot in an earlier teaser. This is probably her crying over her son's death in the knife and key game. This is probably her asking, begging them to stop the games. Then this looks like a new shot, possibly of No-ul with a specific close-up. It also looks like the floor is very clean, meaning this isn't during the rebellion and beginning of season 3, but it still seems like there's a decent amount of bunks in the room. Definitely less than at the end of season 2, but it's not the final game yet. So I think this is safe to say this is from around the midpoint of season 3. Now this is a sick new shot of No-ul fighting with the officer, In-ho's right-hand man. This is so cool. It looks like just the two of them were in an elevator together and maybe No-ul thought it was a good time to turn on him, but I almost feel like the officer started it and No-ul is just trying to survive. It's funny because I didn't realize it until now, but that's probably the reason they introduced this new operator into the organization. It's so that No-ul had someone of significance to go up against and eventually defeat, because if it wasn't this guy, it would definitely be the frontman. But honestly, that would spread his character way too thin. I already feel that a bit, trying to juggle the frontman's Gi-hun reveal and Gi-hun fighting to stop the game, along with Jun-ho trying to find him and do whatever he's going to do when he sees him. Because if the frontman was the person No-ul was fighting with too, it would just be way too much. This way, after this conflict, No-ul is in a position to eliminate the masked officer and make a run for it. Whereas if this was the frontman, he would definitely defeat her and then get distracted or something, allowing her to sneak away. He has way more plot armor than she does. That being said, even though she's beefing with a smaller bad guy, I'm still really looking forward to seeing this play out. Now, before we get to all the new secrets hidden in the pictures just released, I want to talk about the new video Netflix posted of the main cast of season 3 and Top watching the Squid Games trailer for the first time. Specifically, this one comment that the director makes. As they're showing the knife and key game, he has this to say about it.
모든 시즌을 통틀어서 그 게임이 가장 정서적으로 드라마틱한 강렬한 게임이라고 생각을 해요. 그래서 많은 분들이 그 게임을 보실 때 마음의 기대를 준비를 단단히 하고 보시면 좋을 것 같습니다.
This is crazy. I trust him that this will be one of the most brutal games of the entire show. Even in the last video we did breaking down the trailer, which go watch if you haven't seen it, but we learned based on this shot that there are 29 players in the blue team, meaning that if the teams are split up evenly, there's at least 59 players left in the games after the rebellion. And compared to season 1, when they went into the 4th game of marbles, there were 38 players left, which is a massive difference compared to 59. That's 55% more than season 1. This is largely due to Gi-hun doing everything he can to save every player he can, but marbles killed off a lot of players in season 1, more than half. 21 players were eliminated, thinning the remaining players down to 17 for the 5th game. This Squid Games, we've seen an overall higher player count at each game, largely due to Gi-hun's efforts. But I think it's time that the higher-ups are really going to start dwindling down the numbers. They need to eliminate more players quicker before the final game so there's only 3 to 5 survivors. Because you can't have 20 players playing Squid Game. I don't think that would work. And from the shots we've seen of Game 5, there have only been around 12 confirmed players left, and I feel like there's probably a couple more not in these shots because when they started glass tiles in season 1, there was 17. I assume that there will probably be close to 20 for Game 5. But that means they need to eliminate at least 30 players in the knife and key game, maybe 40 at most. And the only main characters that are guaranteed to survive this game is Gi-hun, Jun-hee, player 333, player 149, player 100, and Namgyu. Everyone else is unfortunately as good as dead. And it seems like this game will be very up close and personal, leading to some very sad main character deaths. Make sure you have your tissue boxes very close on this one. Right now, the most dangerous game is still the glass tile game from season 1. 17 players started and only 3 survived. And I don't think this game will be much worse of a survival rate than that, but I know it will still be very brutal. But speaking of, let's take a look at some of these new pictures. They released a bunch of individual character posters for the 8 main characters. They all look really cool, but there's 2 that stick out for a very odd reason: Hyunju and Daeho. If you remember, last time we saw the both of them, they were both voting to end the games. And now for some reason, in these pictures, they both have O blue patches on, as if they want to continue the games. This is so weird. As much as I hope this is just an editing error, everything else has been correct. They're usually pretty on top of things when it comes to getting things right. Why is it just them? Because even in the footage from the teaser and trailers we just got, we can see that both of them have been voting red. I'd be really surprised if both of them survived this game, but I just can't see why either of them would change their votes. With all these colorful looking rooms as the backgrounds, it seems to be during the knife and key game, or at least at that point in the show, but none of them have the red and blue vests on, so grain of salt. Next, this one I am so excited about. This looks like a picture of In-ho as a flashback after he won his Squid Games back in 2015. We actually saw in the clip from season 1 of Jun-ho looking through the records that In-ho was player 132 just like we see here. Most likely this is after he finished the last game and it seems like he was personally invited to the viewing quarters to meet with a VIP. Or is it? This seems to be the owl mask, which we saw in season 1 being worn by none other than Il-nam himself. This is crazy. Are we going to get a flashback of In-ho during the finale of his last game and then get to see him go up and meet with Il-nam? Is this when he's going to get asked to become the frontman and run the Squid Games? This is so cool. I wonder if the flashback takes place during the scene when In-ho invites Gi-hun up to his quarters after he beats the 5th game. I wonder if In-ho tells Gi-hun his story of why he's here in hopes of justifying or humanizing his choices in some way that led him here. Because Gi-hun no doubt is going to feel so betrayed and so confused once he learns that the player he's hated all this time was the same person that he's just befriended and opened up to and bonded with and fought alongside in a rebellion. Because in some of these scenes, they had chemistry. They were both enjoying the games. And now what? All for a charade? What do you think In-ho's excuse will be to Gi-hun on why he went undercover and played alongside him? Because to our understanding, he simply did it for damage control. After he watched Gi-hun absolutely derail the first game, preventing so many more players from getting eliminated, he inserted himself into the games and immediately befriended him in hopes of keeping him from messing up more of the games for all the VIPs watching. But I'm not sure how well that went, considering he actually ended up almost overthrowing his own operation. It felt like he just blacked out and got lost in being Young-il, like that little bit of good left in him took over and abandoned being the bad guy. I can't wait for this scene in these flashbacks. This is going to be so exciting. Tell me in the comments if you think the frontman is redeemable and if he can still be a good guy. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.